Hello students. Today we are going to learn a topic on socialization and its agencies, family, school, peer group and mass media. Before going directly to the topic, I want to first relate it with a movie named The Jungle Book. Most of you must have watched this movie. The main character was Mowgli, who was brought up in a jungle which obviously had an extremely different environment as compared to our human society. Everyone has witnessed his peculiar habits and skills which he acquired from his caregivers. If you get a chance to meet him personally, will you call him socialized according to the human social norms? Did his behavior show the human characteristics? The obvious answer is no. His total behavior was identical to animals in whose companionship he grew up. That shows the differences between human and animal worlds. Socialization is a process which brings the skills in a person required for being called a human being. Without socialization, an individual would not behave like a human being. First, concept and definition of socialization. Society and its intricate behaviors and values are not known to an infant at the time of birth, but as he or she grows up, he or she learns about the physical world in front of him or her and about the meaning and nature of good and bad things and deeds. He or she also comes to know about the behaviors to be approved and accepted by the members of the society and those not to be accepted or approved. This process is known as socialization, which shapes our self-concept. It teaches through its various agents including family, school, peer group, neighbors, etc. The way to behave that is acceptable to the society. Children acquire and learn the appropriate behaviors and values from their social world by absorbing its associated social norms and values. In NCERT's book of sociology, it is mentioned that socialization can be defined as the process whereby the helpless infant gradually becomes a self-aware, knowledgeable person skilled in the ways of the culture into which he or she is born. In simple words, it is a continuous process by which people learn behavior, beliefs, and attitude that make them prepared to function effectively as a member of the larger society. It can also be called as the process of internalization of norms and ideologies of society whereby an individual learns to live in social groups, to participate in productive activities and cultural life. In Socialization and Society, John A. Clausen mentioned that it is the means by which social and cultural continuity are attained. According to Havinghurst and Newgarden, socialization is the process by which children learn the ways of their society and make these ways part of their own personality. It is a lifelong process which remains critical during early years of life. Through this process, a person internalizes, inherits, and disseminates norms, values, and ideologies. It provides an individual the required skills and necessary habits which are beneficial and mandatory for participating effectively within his or her own society. There we have agencies of socialization. Through the definitions of socialization given in the previous section, it is already understood that it is a process that starts from birth and continues throughout our life. As it is a process, it needs to be processed through several agencies where different agents help in its successful exercise and execution. But here we are intrigued by some questions. Whom do we call agencies of socialization? Are we counting only those who help in learning social values and behaviors in formal and systematic ways by following certain preset guidelines and frameworks? The answer is not affirmative because socialization is not limited to few formal agencies or agents, but broadly it starts and continues wherever an individual goes or learns something. What we see in our environment, particularly at homes, in schools, and on television, radio, and in newspapers, influence and socialize us by helping in acquisition of behavior and attitude. An individual is socialized by agencies and its associated agents like school, family, neighborhood, peer group, religion, region, mass media, etc., in which he or she participates and acquires the required skills, behaviors, and habits. The most influential agents of socialization are described in detail in the following points. First, we have family. Family is the most important informal agency of socialization, which is a primary social organization or group of people who share an obligatory relationship with one another. It is usually the first unit with which children have continuous contact and the first contact in which socialization patterns develop. From family, child gets his or her first experience of interaction and acquires all the civic virtues required for healthy living. Interaction with family members provides social and socializing experiences to the children. It is in the family that the child becomes aware of the world around him or her. All social and moral values are inherited from family. It is called as a cradle of learning, which imbibe the much needed moral qualities. In the words of Ballard, family is the original social institution from which all other institutions have developed. Undoubtedly, there is no parallel or substitute of the family as an agency of socialization. From family, child acquires many of the social patterns, habits, manners, and attitudes which determine his or her future adjustment in the larger society. Families do not socialize children in a vacuum, but many social factors affect the way a family raises its children. The background and association of family with different social groups such as social class, caste, religion, race, and others have its deep impact on children as developing individuals. The internalization of values and norms is basically dependent upon the frequency and intensity of associated familial environment consisting of certain activities and behaviors. It is a well-known fact that families and its system vary widely. So, consequently, children's experiences are not found to be standard and uniform across cultures and communities. The agency of family consists of different socializing agents. In nuclear family, only parents remain the key agent, whereas in joint family, other members like grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, etc. may also play the roles of significant agents of socialization. The variations of behaviors, roles, values, and skills can be easily witnessed among different members coming from different familial backgrounds. The another agency of socialization is peer group. After family, a child comes in contact with different group of people with whom he or she loves to play and shares his or her thoughts and feelings. It refers to the friendship groups of children of similar age. Peer groups and its relationships remain important throughout an individual's life. It has importance in shaping individuals' attitude and behaviors. It provides children the first major socialization experience outside the realm of their parents. According to Judith Harris, the author of The Nurture Assumption, Why Children Turn Out the Way They Do, parents matter less than you think and peers matter more. Engagement with group activities provide the opportunities to develop social cooperation, democratic values, competition, independence, etc. These different activities lead to the development of different skills and behaviors necessary for survival in the larger society. According to Halsey et al., this group life is very important for them and has considered influence on the development of their self-concepts. In playing together, children learn to cooperate. They learn to adjust their needs and desires to the behaviors of peers. Peer groups help in socializing us and may also induce us to violate social norms. It has positive as well as negative impact on the minds of children. Here we have another agency of socialization called as schools. Schools stand for a specialized formal agency set up by the society for socializing the rising generations. It not only educates a child but develops a social values, social cognition, social norms, social participation, attitudes and values. A school is formal agency or organization where students study definite curriculum and subjects. Along with its definite formal curriculum, schools have hidden curriculum too, which is called as the one that no teacher explicitly teaches but that all students learn. It implicitly affects and conditions children's learning. It is also called as the untaught lessons, which have great impact on students' later life. In schools, teachers, peer groups, textbooks, extracurricular activities, etc. facilitate socialization of the students. The materials and the content being used by the teachers in the schools have deep impact on the mindset of children, which validates the norms and values given by parents and others informally. Teachers' behavior towards children and children's involvement in different activities also influence the development of social values and patterns among children. Interaction and engagement with other peers helps in strengthening the individual's social interaction and interpersonal skills. Here we have another agency of socialization, that is mass media, which is a collection of media technologies that reach a large audience via mass communication, which is intended to reach a mass audience. In the words of Uznain, medias are important agents of individual socialization and their action mode predetermines positive and negative aspects in the process of socialization. Our everyday life has changed tremendously by the innovation of mass media. It has increasingly become an integral part of our life. Mass media distribute information to a wide audience with the help of television, films, newspaper, magazines, radio and the internet. Due to this boon, vast array of information is easily accessible and approachable to the people living in the different parts of the world. In today's world, children are spending most of their time in browsing and using internet, which has positive as well as negative impact on their learning. They learn and acquire the behaviors, habits and values from various characters shown on television in movies and serials. Every day, we are exposed to numerous images from the media which suggest what we should be like. These suggestions of media invade our thoughts and shape the way we think and interact. Through it, the kind of content exposure children get is reflected in their own behaviors and habits. Mass media together with family and peer group contribute in the shaping of new patterns and behaviors and also perpetuating the conventional and traditional behaviors, attitude and patterns in society. At the end, it can be concluded that socialization is a process which helps in learning and acquiring the social skills, behaviors, and attitudes needed to be the part of society. This process is not a result of a day's procedure, but it requires different agencies that help in preparing individuals to function effectively as members of society. These agencies can be of formal or informal nature. Family, peer group, and mass media are informal agencies, whereas school is the formal one. He or she starts being socialized from first school called family and continues to learn from different agents like from schools, peer groups, and mass media, which lead to fully developed and nurtured personalities, attitudes, habits, skills, values, and behaviors. In their families, children learn skills and behaviors and habits regarding their own community, but through mass media, school, and peer groups, they develop tolerance and respect for other cultures and communities through continuous exposure.